Thank you, Commissioner, for being here today and taking our questions. And
Thank you, Senator.
so once again, we have an executive budget proposal that fails to include any significant funding to combat the spread of Lyme and tick-borne diseases. And as my colleagues know, I'm always talking about ticks, either through increased education, research, or prevention initiatives. And we've spoken about the importance of this issue before and that it's rapidly spreading across the state. While it's often, looked at as a health issue, we know it's an environmental issue as well. So your advocacy on this front could be key. I was wondering if you could tell me why you think this funding is continuously left out of the executive budget proposal and what you'd recommend that we do to change that, if there's anything you can suggest.
Sure. Well, I certainly would recommend, not to defer everything, but to talk to DOH about that, because they do manage the Lyme disease program here in New York State. From a landscape perspective, however, we recognize that creating a healthier landscape ultimately reduces the chances of having tick-borne issues, and that ranges from having a robust and well-managed hunting program all the way through to protecting landscapes and restoring landscapes. And frankly, I believe if we do this right, the Bond Act funding that's been proposed will help us make those investments in open space that we've needed to do for a long time. Anytime you see a deteriorated landscape and you have people going into it, you have those opportunities for conflict. So we do have a conservation mindset at the agency, and that in part will help on the human health side. But I get your point. Would recommend a conversation with DOH on some of their education plans.
Those are really good points. And the other, my other question is, lakes in the communities that I represent, especially in Putnam County, have been heavily impacted by the blue-green algae. And I've heard from local representatives who are frustrated with the new testing process that requires samples to be sent to DEC, and it takes days to get the results back. And I was just wondering if there's anything in this budget proposal that aims to safeguard our waterways against this or to improve the testing process.
I will offline look into the testing issue. I was not aware of a backlog, but that's a serious issue. We work on it very carefully and closely with any water bodies that are drinking water sources. On HABs generally, this problem that is now impacting us at an increasing rate, I think due because in part climate change. The clean water investments that we've made over the years, we've put over $220 million into priority water bodies around the state that have had HABs issues, and trying to reduce the HABs from happening in the first place. Part of that is reducing septic overflows. It's also hard infrastructure on the wastewater side. It's also farm practices and increasing buffer around streams. So all of those dollars we've been putting into those programs is going to help us long-term reduce the prevalence of HABs. And again, hate to push everything back to the Bond Act, but I believe that those types of resources will help us fight the scourge of blue-green algae around the state.
And anything you can help us with, Commissioner, because I think it's going to take a multi-agency effort with the Lyme and tick-borne disease to bring everybody together. So thank you very much, Madam Chair.
Happy to talk to you with DOH.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.